Marvel fans, the wait is almost over. The Fantastic Four are making their debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we're about to witness a story like no other. But what if the entire plot of Fantastic Four First Steps revolves around one of the craziest twists in MCU history? On the trailers, meanwhile in the leaked trailer, we could see that the movie is setting in the 1960s. They get their powers and the story will be revolved in their timeline. But on the leaked trailers, we could see that Galactus will introduce himself in the movie too. The only thing is that it doesn't feel like Galactus is fitting in. What if all of this footage we're seeing isn't real? What if someone is controlling our Fantastic Four members into thinking everything's real? And that's right, we're talking about a virtual reality created by none other than Dr. Doom himself. Today, we're diving deep into the theory that the Fantastic Four have been stuck in a virtual reality since the 1960s. We'll break down how they might escape this digital prison to join the Avengers in the present day. Could this be the ultimate plan by Dr. Doom? And how will the family break free? Let's jump into it. First, let's set the stage. We know from the comics that the Fantastic Four gained their powers after a cosmic accident during a space mission. In the upcoming MCU movie Fantastic Four First Steps, it's likely that this origin story will remain mostly intact. But here's the twist. After gaining their powers, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm don't return to Earth as we know it. Instead, Dr. Doom kidnaps them, and here's where things get wild. In our theory, Dr. Doom, always one step ahead, realizes the potential threat the Fantastic Four could pose to his plans. So, he kidnaps them immediately after their accident and places them in an advanced high-tech virtual reality. This virtual reality is modeled after the 1960s, trapping the team in a simulation where they believe they are still in that time period. And in this reality, everything feels real to the Fantastic Four. Their daily lives, their interaction with each other, even their powers, all seem to be functioning normally. But here's the catch. Time, in this virtual reality, doesn't flow the same way. While the Fantastic Four believe they've only been in this world for a short while, in reality decades have passed in the real world. This explains why the Fantastic Four haven't been mentioned or seen in the MCU until now. They've been stuck in a simulated reality created by Dr. Doom for years. Dr. Doom's motive? He wants to keep the Fantastic Four out of the way while he builds his empire in the shadows. By trapping them in the world where they can't interfere with his plans, Doom is free to manipulate world politics, gather technology, and solidify his power. All without the interference of Marvel's first family. Now, let's talk about how the Fantastic Four start to realize that something's off. After spending years in the virtual reality, Reed Richards, being the genius that he is, begins to notice small anomalies. Perhaps the technology of the 1960s starts to glitch, or the world they live in feels too perfect. Maybe there are moments where they experience déjà vu, or they encounter the same people over and over again. Reed, always curious, starts running experiments, testing their limits of their environment. He begins to notice that certain laws of physics don't apply the way they should, and soon he realizes that they are trapped in an artificial world. But how do you convince your family and team that everything they know is a lie? This is where the tension builds. Reed, Sue, Joni, and Ben start to argue. Reed is obsessed with breaking out, but the others might not be so quick to believe him. They've been living in this world for what feels like years, so why would they question it? But as the glitches become more frequent, Sue Storm begins to trust Reed's instincts. Her powers of invisibility might allow her to see beyond the boundaries of the virtual world, catching glimpses of the real world beneath the surface. Joni's fiery temper and impulsiveness could lead him to test the environment's limits, while Ben Grimm, or the Thing as we know him, feels the emotional weight of realizing that his transformation might have been a manipulated consequence of Doom's plan. Together, the family starts to piece together the truth. But breaking out of the virtual reality is no easy task. Dr. Doom has created an intricate system designed to keep them imprisoned, and any attempt to escape could trigger catastrophic consequences within the simulation. So, how do they break out? This is where things get interesting. Reed Richards, with his brilliant mind, comes up with a plan. He theorizes that if they can locate the source of the VR, a control center or hidden exit point, they can overload the system and force it to collapse. But they need to do it from within. Each member of the Fantastic Four plays a key role in the escape. Reed designs a device that will disrupt the virtual world's power grid, while Sue uses her invisibility to sneak past Doom's virtual agents and locate the control center. Johnny's fiery powers are used to create a diversion, and Ben's sheer strength is needed to break through the barriers guarding the exit. And the escape isn't without its challenges. Doom, aware that they're close to breaking free, sends virtual constructs and obstacles to slow them down. These could include illusions of their past enemies, psychological traps, or even alternate versions of themselves designed to make them doubt their reality. But as the team works together, their family bond grows stronger. It's this bond that allows them to outsmart Doom's system and find their way out. And in the climactic moment, Reed and Sue manage to overload the virtual system, causing the simulation to collapse around them. As the world disintegrates, they see the real world for the first time in years. The Fantastic Four emerge, disoriented but determined, into the present-day MCU. The escape is explosive, and they finally confront Dr. Doom, now much more powerful and influential than when they last saw him. The confrontation is short but sets the stage for a larger battle to come, but there's no time to rest. The world they've returned to is in chaos and the Avengers are in desperate need of allies. Now that the Fantastic Four have escaped Doom's virtual reality, they find themselves in a world they barely recognize, but there's no time to adjust. The Avengers need them. The MCU is dealing with the new threats: Kang the Conquerors, which we don't know if it will go on, incursions from the multiverse, and cosmic threats like Galactus. The Fantastic Four are exactly the kind of heroes the Avengers need on their side. But how will the Fantastic Four fit into the Avengers dynamic? Reed Richards, with his brilliant intellect, could take on a leadership role, working closely with characters like Doctor Strange and Bruce Banner to unravel the multiversal chaos threatening the MCU. We saw in the end of Doctor Strange 2 that Doctor Strange is going to, let's say, battle a cosmic threat. It's different than it has ever been before. We saw also Charlize Theron, who we know who she's playing, and we also have Sue Storm, with her mastery of invisibility and force fields, could provide vital support in battle, and Johnny and Ben, they have the firepower and the muscle needed to take on cosmic level threats. So we can see a crossover between Doctor Strange 3 and also Fantastic Four in maybe, let's say, Avengers, the new, not the Kang Dynasty as we know, but the new one with the Dr. Doom, with Robert Downey Jr. It will be actually really interesting to see if Robert Downey Jr. will be the main MCU's, like, let's say, Dr. Doom or Victor Von Doom. But if he was, he would be like, just looking like Tony Stark, maybe a little bit different. He's probably a threat from another multiverse, let's say Earth 10,001 or somewhere else. But when they announced Robert Downey Jr., it actually opened up a world of possibilities. Well, that's still to come. We don't know what's going to happen, but we can only think about it. This crossover opens up endless possibilities, like we could imagine a team-up between Reed Richards and Tony Stark's legacy AI, or a heated rivalry between Johnny Storm and Peter Parker. I would love to see Johnny and Peter Parker, or maybe two different Johnnies. We saw one of the Johnnies happen something to him in Deadpool and Wolverine, but we have multiple Johnny Storms. I can't wait to see them all. The Fantastic Four bring a new energy to the Avengers, and their knowledge of cosmic phenomena could be key to defeating villains like Kang or even the Silver Surfer's arrival. And this was all for today. Let us know what you thought of this theory, if it might work, if you like it, if you don't. If you have anything else to tell us, be sure to let a comment, subscribe to the channel, and give a like to this video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.